And a bing, and a bong, and we're live. We're live. It's the Modern Fowler Scrum on a Tuesday, and we have Nico and Mariam and Faith and Sam, and here we go. So yeah, I've spent the morning working on it's the GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation changes for website 1. After we had an exciting AV community talk meeting last night, new members, a couple of new members in there. We've also got a new channel there called AV React Frontend, where there's more excited talking about getting, the AV React front end off the ground. So check out that channel if you're interested. I think we've now patched things up. Had to remove like all of the legacy newsletter stuff that we never used. But I think that's now. I think it's just deployed to develop, and so I've got to check that on develop and kind of get that out into production. So hopefully we'll be good there. Not blocked, just need to make sure that gets deployed. I guess the key thing that's sort of a blocker for us is related to the NHS Wiki project, where we've also got to kind of comply with the GDPR regulations, but MediaWiki and Wikipedia seem to not have any. I was sort of assuming that the latest version of MediaWiki would have changes to its sign-up page that you've got to have these little consent tick boxes, but we can't find anything about it. So either we just haven't found it yet, or we have to make it ourselves, and then we can be like famous people as the people who fixed MediaWiki for the GDPR, or who knows. That's things coming up. I've got pairing with Mariam probably on website 1 in about half an hour, and then we've got the website 1 now every 2 weeks kickoff meeting. So hopefully we can clear out the board and get all things cleared up. And then is there anything happening after that on Tuesday? I don't think so. I think it's just the Kent Beck Scrum. That's pretty much me. Nico, how are things going with you?
Yep, I've been fixing a couple Cucumber features that were failing, so that is already fixed. The other thing, I didn't try yet the Dockerization for the Wiki stack, but the thing is that, as you were saying, we now have to apply something regarding the GDPR because it's coming the 25, I think, of this month. So yeah, I think I'm thinking the same blocker that you're thinking. Regarding the editor on documents in the website 1 project, I think that the last thing that we talked about, it was to use another editor that it wasn't Mercury in order to change it and make it more beautiful. I don't know, but I don't know. I can change priorities.
I replied to that, and I put the links to that editor and some other chat in there in the
cool
the thread there. So yeah, that's we can certainly talk about that at the end more if we need to. But yeah, it seems like you've now fixed all of the Cucumber stuff for website 1.
Yeah. Another thing, the second try is not activated. I don't know what do you want to do with that. I can activate it again.
Well, I guess the develop is green at the moment, so let's leave it on at the moment, and we'll see if we need it.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Great stuff. Thank you, Nico. I think Mariam was in next. Hey, Mariam, how are things going with you?
I've been working on local support. I did the pull request for the migrations, and website 1. I have done some fixes for Cucumber test, and also I have been continuing work on my pull request on website 1. Yeah.
Great. Anything blocking you?
No, I'm just like it just takes me a long time to try the Cucumber test for.
But yeah, they're very slow. Yeah. We have an outstanding. We did identify like 3 or 4 of them as being particularly slow. That's a general thing that it would be maybe good to revisit that and maybe remove those Cucumbers. I just been removing all the newsletter stuff. I threw out the newsletter feature tests, so there'll be slightly less to run. But there's kind of a higher level action item to prune out. Like, we're running all these tests. Are they really giving us value? Some of them that are very slow running, we maybe need to remove. But great, yeah. Thanks for all of your input, Mariam. Excellent. I left some comments in the local support pull request for you, but I'll check around on those.
I just checked it.
Cool. Great. Thanks, Mariam. Faith, how are things going with you?
things are coming along well. Been working on the RFM project. The task being stored in the database. It's coming along well. Yesterday, I was able to pair with Matt on the task. Didn't complete it, but we're going to pair again today. And then what's the other thing? Oh, our meeting. Our weekly meeting always happen on Wednesday, but that's not a good time for Matt. So we were considering doing it today. So I might as well hop on in that call, and then prepping for the TDD mob session is what I've been doing today.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good stuff, Faith. And we've also got Mike is here as well. Hey, Mike, how are things with you?
Hi guys. Yes, so I didn't really do much yesterday, so I was just listening in today, and yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
No problem at all. Great to have you with us.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks, Mike. All right. So that's our Scrum. Ooh, we can go into the after Scrum.
Sam, just a quick one.
Yeah.
I was trying to set up MediaWiki on my on my local, and I saw there's a project you are working with. I don't know whether it's for the ministry. It looked like you did the same thing. Yeah. So things are not going right with me with the patch and all that stuff. So.
Right. Yeah. So we've got various connections with MediaWiki. There's the Wiki EDU dashboard project, which kind of connects to Wikipedia, and then we've got this paid project at NHS it's the UK National Health Service system, and that uses MediaWiki, and yes, so we've got a whole. We've got deployed instances of MediaWiki, and we've got to work on improving them. You're trying to you're trying to what's the word? You're trying to deploy like a vanilla, just a normal MediaWiki instance.
Yes, I think I saw you show up something like that some days back. So I was just trying to replicate the same on my local machine.
Right.
And yes, I just wanted to know if I can get maybe some links to how to get done with it. How you guys manage.
So you're just trying to run MediaWiki locally on your personal machine. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is that now I know that Nico's done that successfully. I kind of gave up doing that because my local machine is what's it called? It's Macintosh, OS X, and I basically kind of like only deploy it in the cloud.
Okay.
So yeah, I did find. What machine are you on, Mike? Are you on Ubuntu or? What operating system do you have locally?
Okay, I use a Mac, but I have a VM where I'm using Windows, and I want it to run on the Windows VM.
Yeah, maybe Nico, do you have something because you've only deployed MediaWiki locally with the Docker file, right?
Yeah, I'm looking for the link now.
Yeah. So maybe Nico.
So they have a Docker file that does all that.
Yeah. There is one that is called. I'm searching. Just give me.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, so Nico will find that. Yeah. Now, was there anything else that we needed to coordinate? I guess we're at the end of the Scrum. Yeah, it would be great if we can help you out there, Mike. I guess the things. So I've merged Mariam. I've merged your pull request on local support, and we'll see if that fixes the build fail there. For Nico, I guess for the what is it? For website one, I guess I'll just highlight. So then this removing Mercury thing is, I posted it. So we've got this, there's the Medium editor, and then there's like a Medium editor embed plugin to allow us to embed videos and so on. So this could be done, what I've done a spelling mistake there. What I worry is that, I mean, I think that would be like a nice thing to have, and kind of, definitely be a good learning experience and fun and so on.
But do we have some other tickets? Because I haven't taken a look to Waffle, so in a while. So if you tell me we need to get this other thing done, that's perfect with me.
Well, I think that's probably let's do a review of priority. That's what the website one meeting today should be for, and we can review that. In the meeting, that's assuming you can be there. It's just under 3 hours from now.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at those. There's lots of options of the different directions we could go. I would say, like, immediately, like the immediate priority for me is I need to get on the develop server. It has just, the certificate has expired, and so I'm having to get the. I had to renew the certificate. Does not work. It did say sometimes it's having renewed it. It won't, like, I think Chrome like caches the certificate.
Okay.
But the immediate priority for me is I must get this GDPR stuff out.
Okay.
I just have a question.
Go on, Mariam.
Because I saw in your pull request you removed the newsletter functionality. Like, is it no longer needed? Or
well, this is. So the pull request to get the GDPR in, the main change that we get from that is when people sign up, is for them to say whether they give us consent to send them emails or not. The newsletter functionality, ironically, that was all built. It was never used. It was all built without checking. This was like about 3 or 4 years ago. With the idea of having newsletters, it got kind of like hand rolled. It was like custom newsletter functionality built into website one. It sort of reflected the style at that time. I wasn't coding on it. I was just sort of a customer. The style at the time was, let's build everything ourselves. So it was all built. It got deployed to production, and they never managed to connect it up to actually send the email. So it was never, there's like a single newsletter, like the first one that would have been sent 4 years ago, and it never got used. It's a big shame. A lot of work obviously went into getting it. It's the moral of that story is, you need, like, before you put in all the effort to say, like, we need a newsletter to do this and do that and all these different things, is you need to check first that you can just send an email in the way that you want. You need it's sort of, the whole thing is symptomatic of what you've got to be very careful about. The same thing with MediaWiki. Like, I can get MediaWiki running on my Mac, fantastic. That doesn't actually tell me anything about the problems that I'll have running MediaWiki in the cloud on the real system. So it's so essential to do before you put a lot of work in, to do an early test that things will run in your production environment. But so the newsletter functionality is all there. It never got used. It's replicating the functionality that Elastic Mail, MailChimp, all of these other services provide. And what pretty much everybody does these days is they don't roll their own functionality. They outsource it to these groups. And for the various, over the years, in the last 4 years, we've used MailChimp and Elastic Mail to send our newsletter stuff. And so that things like all removed, it's a lot of code. It's a shame, for the effort that went into putting it together. It was never used, if that makes sense.
I thought it was the one that was sending newsletter.
No, ironically not. And it's an interesting question. You could say, we've got all this code, should we use it? The difficulty is, and because it seems like a shame to throw it away when people went to some effort to put it together. Hopefully they had a good learning experience doing it. The difficulty is it never worked, and now it's like toss-up. Like, do we try and take something that somebody wrote that maybe has some internal problems, versus do we try and connect with via the API to a service like Elastic Email or MailChimp? In fact, at the moment, we just use Elastic Mail manually to send out the newsletters. In the ideal world, we would have sort of a synchronization between, these like Elastic Mail and our Agile Ventures site. That's a separate sort of epic to work on in future. So does that make sense?
Yeah, yes.
Cool. So what I was struggling towards, I mean, I'm going to have to deal with this. Yeah, I will get the GDPR changes out. The big thing, if you've got any spare mental cycles now, Nico, what we've just been talking about, this is the NHS Wiki project, is, so we can't seem to find any mention of how MediaWiki might be changing to support the GDPR.
That's right. Yeah.
The thing I was just looking at is whether we try and make an extension that other people could use or not. We kind of need to come into, let's go here, drill you down to the specific thing. So this is our MediaWiki instance. It's set up there. I've just opened that in an anonymous thing, so I can say, so like when somebody is coming in creating an account, I think what the GDPR is saying, we're going to need to have explicit consent to say to the people, what we're going to do is that I think the very minimum that we would send you occasional emails, would have password reset or what. I mean, this system doesn't have, we're not asking to do newsletters or what have you. But what we need to be able to modify this page to support the kind of GDPR consent options that I believe are being required. And so this is all PHP code in MediaWiki with a template, HTML template. So we could go and hack that, but it's got to, be stored in the database and what have you. I think what a lot of MediaWiki people will be looking for is either, so that the MediaWiki 1.31, like the latest version, is changed to allow some consent options there, or some kind of plugin or extension for MediaWiki that would allow that to happen. So kind of what I was just doing in the background as we were talking, Nico, was I was trying to search through, maybe someone already created an extension for GDPR, but we haven't yet found it yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's kind of like this page of, go on.
What if, for example, the GDPR, it is only that message in the registration form, or it is also, for example, if a user deletes its own account, it will delete all the information that he has within the.
That's another part of it. I mean, there's several things. There's
there's
consent, there's privacy policy. I mean, there's you have to be responsive to users saying that they want all of their data deleted. Absolutely, there's a number of things, but you can, at the bare minimum, in your privacy policy, you can put information to say, oh, if you want stuff deleted, come here, and then you can work on that manually. But if you don't get explicit consent up front for sending emails or things, then I think according to the GDPR now, you just can't send them. Right? You have to. So that's kind of like the most critical change. I mean, then of course, is it going to be a problem? The GDPR, like that, it's not that they're going to go around checking every website, but in principle, people can register complaints about websites that, for example, emailed them without receiving the appropriate consent. So to kind of protect yourself, you want to make sure that you have a record in the database. This was the explicit consent that this person gave me to send them an email in future.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go grab I don't know what I've done there. I'm going to go and grab a tea and a bagel and get rid of my presentation with Marion. But I don't know. Yeah. Like here, I guess I was just working out how to search this. They've got
all extensions,
like GDP, like extension. See, this is the kind of place I would have expected to
have it there.
Yeah. I mean, I would have. There's so many MediaWiki instances, and so I would have expected to find. It seems like we can't search them. I guess what I want to do is search all of the extensions for mention of the word GDPR or the word consent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but I can't find that option.
Yeah. So I mean, if you can have a look at that and see if you can find something, and if not, then we could start looking at MediaWiki like, do we like what's the quickest way for us to make
modify it?
page?
Yeah.
Is it to add an extension, or do we need to put in a pull request to the MediaWiki project itself? So,
okay, cool,
great stuff. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing some or all of you in the website one meeting in a bit.
Yeah.
We also, I thought we've got the there's the TDD mob is coming up in about 35 minutes. Great to see you all. Bye for now.
bye.
Bye.